Welcome back to day 3 of our coverage at North American Blockchain Summit 2023. This is day 3.
Day 3 of the show. Day 2 of our coverage.
Got Mark with me, Frank Kushner, and we've got a good guest today. We've got
Joost Adrians. That's right. We practiced that earlier because we don't know Dutch very well, so we had to practice it. Yeah.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah, our pleasure, our pleasure. So you're in an interesting space. You're actually a 50-year-old, 60-year-old. Wait, how was all the 50?
Yeah, 50-year-old. So
Yeah, K&N, which is mostly known for like auto filtration systems, but
Predating blockchain just a little bit.
just by a hair.
yeah. So I'm the director of Industrial Filtration. So I basically lead the product development side of the business for K&N on the industrial side.
Yeah.
We're 50-year-old brand, or over 50 years, 1969 established. So we are the inventor of the washable, reusable air filter for cars and motorcycles.
Sure.
Going fast forward, a few years ago, we were approached by a large hyperscaler to basically come up with a sustainable solution for an industrial air filter for their fan wall.
Right.
It all makes sense, right? Because there's about 60,000 tons of air filter waste going into landfills in North American data centers, combined.
Sure.
So that's a lot of air filters. It's a lot of money, right? So the formula totally makes sense. So we developed a washable, reusable air filter for use of data centers and industrial applications.
Right.
Which eventually tied into the Bitcoin mining space because it makes even more sense in this space because filters are replaced more often.
Yeah.
I've heard stories of people changing filters every few weeks even, and if the environment is really bad.
Sure. Especially with a lot of those companies out there in West Texas where there's
exactly
it's a desert.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. So our filters they have a 50-year warranty. You can wash them and reuse them basically indefinitely. So you're now getting rid of that filter waste for 50 years long.
Sure.
So that's one aspect. And secondly, our filters are higher flowing. So what that really means is you can push the same amount of air through that filter versus a disposable filter, but at a lower fan speed.
So less energy.
Happens. Yeah, so the fans, the VFD fans within those data centers, they will adjust and basically turn at a lower speed.
Yeah.
And that's how you get energy savings. So, so with that particular hyperscaler, we saw a 35% reduction in energy costs just based on changing the filters a lot.
And as we all know, energy is the key to the actual profitability of mining. Right.
Yep.
That's an amazing for just small, originally disposable type of unit.
Yeah.
Tremendous savings.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny because I sometimes feel the whole filtration aspect is overlooked, especially in the Bitcoin mining space. Because if you compare it to traditional data centers, these guys are highly sophisticated, right? They measure everything. They have pressure sensors throughout the entire building. They measure temperature, humidity. They can adjust everything from a control room. And in the Bitcoin mining space, it's very different. It's still a lot of the kind of crude components, right? You take mining containers, you take a piece of filter cloth, mount it to the side, right? It's cool. I love it, right?
Yeah.
But I think it's really time. We're moving to an era where we're getting more sophisticated within the space. It's getting really serious, and filtration is an aspect that people should take a look at probably a little bit more critically.
But it's I think a culture of disposable data centers is probably what leads that ragtag thing that you may not be useful to someone from a traditional data center, because most of the equipment's going to have to be cycled out. It's got a 6-year at best lifespan for a miner. So
it's from consumable to reusable. That's the important part, is to be able to actually make it green, as you said, right?
Absolutely. And I think that's one of the good aspects of using a reusable product is now you basically turn it into an asset, right? So a disposable product was an operational expense. A washable, reusable filter becomes a capital expense. So it's
tax savings too, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, from a financial point of view, from a balance sheet point of view, that's great. That's awesome.
Plus, if we were talking to to someone at the show yesterday, and he was mentioning the fact that you actually install a high quality filter that lasts 15 years to actually increasing the value of your mining container, for instance, right? So if you were to ever resell that container now,
Right. Filling blue book style, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, some aftermarket mods.
Yeah.
That, so
And everyone keeps track of everyone keeps track of everything to a T to make sure that all your data is up. So it really makes a critical difference and it good versus, very good.
Absolutely.
Right.
well, I mean, and aside from just the joking resale value of a container, there's also the capex.
Right.
Like you borrowing against the asset is one of the ways to finance the growth, as we talked about yesterday with Mike Alford. So increasing the value of a unit actually helps operate, create more operating capital for the company. Now you brushed past in the kind of the overview of how you got into this. I'm curious, like what was like the moment, like where did the leap come from? Was it just like a random inbound call, or was it like an interest within the organization to like maybe look at applying this? How did that? Tell me the story of how that happened.
Yeah, so our contact basically knew K&N from the automotive space.
Okay.
So, and we've seen that at the show, and by the way, it's an amazing show. We got a lot of really good feedback. I mean, we got some great speakers here, right?
Okay.
So, but yeah, that's definitely the icebreaker is people see the logo and, it's on
Like, what are you guys doing here? Right.
decals and stickers all
Right.
over the United States, right?
Yeah.
So that's how it started, basically. So this guy was using K&N products in his own personal vehicles.
Okay.
While this is a 101 equals 2. Why has nobody thought of this before? I want to have your filter in my data set. So
That's the fascinating thing about what we're doing here in Web3, whatever. It's like it's an air filter, it's a widget, it's a pick, it's a shovel, it's a utility. It requires the same types of things that other utilities need. And so it's really interesting to see, and I love it when we see a company rebrand, not even rebrand, but repivot based on a new opportunity, a new target market. And to be able to find somebody to find somebody who's able to actually take an established 50-year-old company that's probably not going to shift or turn very fast, and then just immediately see the potential, it's pretty great. How did that happen? As far as like how did he get traction? I've got a car, I use your filters. Hey, I want you to make industrial scale filters for a
Data center.
40-foot container. How did that conversation happen?
yeah, I mean that was pretty interesting. I mean after that call we started attending shows. Like this one. We have a whole array of shows lined up for next year that we're doing. We set up a manufacturing department in Texas, actually right here,
Wow.
right around the corner.
Welcome, thanks for the jobs.
Yeah. Absolutely. So, and then for the feedback on shows like this show us that there's so much potential in
Sure.
this because so we offer free filter programs. So basically, we put our money where out is. We say like, hey, let us send you some filters and you try it out. And you basically see that it works and that it pays off for you. So
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of how it started growing. So as we have several pilots ongoing right now, we definitely see that there's a lot of potential and a lot of interest from everybody because the product just makes sense.
We interviewed so many people today that on the hardware side, and how would one of those guys get in touch with you? How would they find out about the company? How would they get in touch with you to find out specifications to build their builds to? Yeah.
Yeah, so I think probably the best things to look on our website, KNGlobalFiltration.com. I'm on LinkedIn, so you can connect with me on LinkedIn. And if you're at the show right here, then we have a booth. So just stop by and we can chat a little bit more.
That's great.
Thanks. Good. Well, thanks for joining us, Joost.
Hey, thanks for watching The Merge. We've got a ton more stuff for you to watch on YouTube, on Instagram, on TikTok, everywhere. Check us out.